What if Africa's most powerful revolution did not begin with a gun, but with a poem? What if the fight against colonialism was waged not only on battlefields, but in classrooms, books, and verses written in exile? Today, we tell the story of Léopold Sédar Senghor, poet, philosopher, and Senegal's first president. He ruled a nation, yet stepped down voluntarily. He mastered the language of his colonizers, yet defended African identity. He believed culture was not decoration, but liberation. And yet, outside Africa, his name is often forgotten. This is the story of Africa's poet-president, and why his legacy matters more than ever. Léopold Sédar Senghor was born in 1906 in Joal, a small coastal town in Senegal. He belonged to the Serer people, one of West Africa's oldest cultures, deeply spiritual, communal, and rooted in oral tradition. Senghor's childhood was shaped by storytelling, song, nature, ancestral memory. Later, he would call it the kingdom of childhood. But colonial rule would soon interrupt this world. Like many gifted African children, Senghor was sent into colonial education, schools designed to shape African minds into European ones. He learned Latin, Greek, French literature, and Christianity. But he also learned something painful: that Africa was described as primitive, that emotion was weakness, that to succeed he must abandon his roots. A deep internal conflict was born. In his 20s, Senghor traveled to France, the heart of the empire ruling his homeland. He attended elite institutions, Lycée Louis de Grand and the Sorbonne. There, he achieved something unprecedented. He was brilliant, respected, but never fully accepted. Despite his success, Senghor was constantly reminded that he was black, praised as an exception, treated as a contradiction. And so, instead of rejecting Africa to fit in, he began to rediscover Africa intellectually. Poetry became his refuge, and then his weapon. In Paris, Senghor met fellow black intellectuals, Aimé Césaire from Martinique and Léon Damas from French Guiana. Together, they ignited a movement called Négritude. Négritude was radical for its time. It declared that black identity was not inferior, that African culture had its own philosophy, that emotion, rhythm, and community were strengths, not weaknesses. Through poetry, Senghor reclaimed what colonialism tried to erase. Africa was no longer silent. In 1960, Senegal gained independence peacefully, and the poet became president. Léopold Sédar Senghor was now responsible for turning philosophy into policy. His leadership was unique. He invested heavily in education, the arts, literature, cultural festivals. Senegal became a center of African creativity. But Senghor was also pragmatic. He maintained close ties with France, a decision that drew criticism but preserved stability. Then, in 1980, he did something extraordinary. He stepped down voluntarily. In a continent plagued by lifelong rulers, Senghor chose democracy over power. Senghor was not without critics. Some said Négritude romanticized Africa. Others accused him of being too close to France. Some felt culture alone could not dismantle economic inequality. But Senghor never claimed perfection. He believed Africa's liberation was intellectual, cultural, and political all at once. And history has proven one thing: culture matters. Today, African culture dominates the global stage. Music, film, fashion, literature. This cultural confidence did not appear accidentally. Senghor helped plant its foundation. His vision of a universal civilization where cultures meet as equals feels more urgent than ever. In a world still wrestling with identity, Senghor reminds us, you do not have to erase yourself to belong. Léopold Sédar Senghor was a bridge between Africa and Europe, between tradition and modernity, between power and humility. He fought colonialism not with bullets, but with beauty. And in doing so, he gave Africa something priceless: its voice.